MATLAB, getting the point estimates, transpose them, put them into the last two entries here in our P matrix, and then we are finalized. So that is a simple application of a for loop, what we could do with a for loop in MATLAB. Yeah? Very simple application of the for loop. Yeah? We have our stock universe and we want to do for many stocks the same thing, yeah? the OLS regression on a factor model. Yeah? In this case it's very simple, it's just the cap M obviously, but we can do it for any factor model. We just have to define a different matrix here in this step obviously. Yeah? This X here it doesn't need to be a vector, it could be also a matrix consisting of the Farman-French factors, yeah? of the 5-factor model, the 3-factor model, or whatever. We just have to define the X matrix before the for loop and then we can do this operation. It's also possible to do it within the for loop. Yeah? We don't necessarily have to define it outside, we can also write this expression that we have written here. Yeah? We can put it here instead of our capital X. We always put this expression that defines our X matrix here, yeah? And then it would give us the same thing, but it's obviously a little bit more, you know, it's obviously easier to define things before the for loop, at least those things that that do not change in the for loop, you can always put outside the for loop and define them. Yeah? Because then it's obviously easier to keep track of what you do. Yeah? So that's a very simple application. Yeah? So let's take this now away, and we need to get to know a few more comments that we use regularly in MATLAB. And after we've done that, we are well equipped to get started with our practical exercise. Huh? Let's say we have a vector x, yeah? This is already defined in the system, it's a t/1 vector, and we want to sort it in an increasing order. So the corresponding command in MATLAB is just, let's say, okay, we define the vector x1, and what should it be? It should be the sorted vector x, and the command is just sort parentheses x. It's very, very simple. Yeah? So we get the same vector sorted with sorted entries in an increasing order. Very simple. And obviously they have the same dimension. Yeah? It's a t/1 vector. Another command, floor from a number, let's say floor from 3.2 is 3. So it gives you always the lowest number, yeah? the full that is before the comma. So floor from 3.2 is 3. Floor from 3.9 is also 3. Okay. So the other command is ceil. Yeah? Ceil from 3.2. Or yeah, if you have this command, ceil from a number, and the number is here, let's say 3.2, it would give you 4. It would give you the next highest number, which is 4. Ceil from 3.9 is also 4. Yeah? So we can, these commands are for rounding numbers. Yeah? When we need to do this later when we implement the momentum strategy. Yeah? So we need to, if we have a number of stocks in our universe, let's say n, and we say, okay, we want to have 30% in the loser group and 30% in the winner group if we have teracycles, then n times 0.3 would gives us the number of stocks in the that are in the each of these groups, in the winner group or in the loser group. And this obviously we can round this number if it's not an even number. We have to somehow to round it, and then we can determine either we round it up or we want to always round it down. So and then we can use one of these commands for rounding numbers. Then another important command is obviously mean from x. It gives you the time series or the sample average of the entries that you have in your x vector. Yeah, in the corresponding command in Excel is obviously average. So, and the corresponding equivalent in MATLAB is just the mean. Also important is the variance, VAR for variance, very easy. And that's why I like MATLAB so much, because it's very simple and very intuitive. The variance gives you, the variance from what is here in parentheses gives you the variance of that vector that is here in parentheses. Then obviously we have already recognized this guy here. Yeah, this how to say. So if you have, for instance, 3, and then you put in this expression, and then 2, it gives you 9. So it's the sign for squaring a number. Yeah. If you want to have the square root of a number, let's say you want to have the square root of 9, you have to write SQR square root. Yeah, this stands for square root. SQRT from 9. Obviously, what MATLAB would give you is 3, the number 3. Yeah. So very, very simple. Then obviously in momentum, if we want to implement the momentum strategy, we operate with cumulative returns, so which means we sum up returns in a certain time window. How we do that? So how do we cumulate? So we have to compound the sum. If you write in MATLAB sum of x, it would give you the whole sum of that vector. If you just want to have the sum, let's say you want to have the sum of the first 5 elements from x, you simply you would write sum, parenthesis open, x, parenthesis open, 1.5, parenthesis closed, second parenthesis closed. So obviously you have always to, if you have 2 open parentheses, you have also to close them. Yeah. So this must be always congruent. So this means it gives you the sum from the first 5 elements of that vector. You could also would like to have the mean of the first 5 elements, and then it's the same thing. Yeah, you write just mean, parentheses open, from what? From x, and from the first 5 elements. And the same thing is for the variance. If you want to have the variance for the first 5 elements in your vector x, you just write VRA from parentheses open, and then in parentheses x from 1 to 5, and then close both parentheses again, and it gives you the variance of the first 5 elements in your vector x. So I think that these simple basics may be sufficient to get started. What we will also encounter during our coding is an else if. So if you have a for loop, you can also have as a sub loop in the for loop an else if, which basically tells MATLAB to do something, if a condition is fulfilled, and if not, if the condition is not fulfilled, which means else in MATLAB, it does something else. Okay, but it's very simple. But we will go through that now in detail.